Stories Podcast, your number one show for everything guitar.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 82 of Guitar Stories Podcast. I'm Andy Ferris, joined, as always, by Dan. Hello, Dan.
Hello, Andy. It's great to be back this week. 82.
It is.
That's quite a ride. We'll ride with you.
Yeah. One more and will be the year of your birth.
That is right. So last week we actually checked your year of birth, and next week is mine. That's cool. And what's next? I mean, it can't get any better than that, right? 81, 83.
Well, it's the year of my sister's birth. I guess that was a terrible year, actually. So that became less important in my family.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, maybe until episode 87, because this is the actual episode. Like, this is the year in which our guest was born. So today's guest is born in 87.
Pretty good year.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I wonder what else is in 87.
I don't know. But after 90, it's like, nah. We don't talk about that, right?
So all shows post 89 are going to be terrible. Okay, deal.
Cheers, everyone.
Right, hello to the people in the chat. Cheers. What is that? Hang on. Are you drinking curry sauce?
No, this is a creamy mocha delight. Totally not sponsored, from Starbucks. Yummy.
Okay. Hello, Sarang. Hello, Melodify. Hello, Valeria. Hello, David K. Hello, Thomas Steiger. Hello, Andrew Morgan. Hello, Gary O'Neill. Hello, Pooh Ninja. And hello, one and all, if you're listening to the audio version. If you want a little shout out, of course, stick something in the chat and we will say hello at some point during the show. If you really want a loud hello, to get one of those hellos where Dan smiles and says it from the bottom of his heart and the heart of his bottom, then please send a super chat. And that'll get you there.
Absolutely.
Right, Dan. We have a wonderful guest here, a guest that we've had on the show before when we had a different format, and you interviewed him without me.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about that, but that was like back in the day. We have another guest, a Restream bot. We gotta be very important to kind of have bots. Yeah, but Nick Johnston is our guest today, and he was already guesting in episode 5. So it's been a while, and it's great to have him back for today's show. I think a lot has happened since then. We've survived the whole pandemic. We've seen, a plethora of releases that are related to him, music-wise and gear-wise. And so we both thought it's time to actually get him back on the show and talk about his career and his development. And I dug deep in the archives. I sent you a couple images that we can later check out.
You did.
Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to that. And do you think it's time to give a quick introduction about him, or do you want to share?
Absolutely.
Something else
I want to get him straight in the show. He's been here longer than you have, so let's get him in.
Yeah. I mean, this is like probably the first introduction that I didn't have to write. I didn't even have to think about, because I had the pleasure to be working with Nick for quite some time back in the day. He's a Canadian-born guitar player. He's got a unique style, a very fluid, very, melodic approach. He's a hybrid picker, so also a technically very advanced player. But the most important thing about that is he writes melodies that are touching. And from the very first album to his latest releases, every single song it just oozes his soul. And I'm very happy that he's here, that he'll be talking with us about his gear and about his music, and that we can reminisce a little bit about the old days too. So yeah. That's Nick Johnston in a nutshell.
No, it isn't.
Okay, sorry. What else? He has a couple releases. He has 2 bands. Man, that's stuff he can tell us probably better than I do.
All right, should we bring him in? Let's bring him in.
Yeah. All right.
Everybody, please welcome to the show, Mr. Nick Johnston. Hello, Nick.
Hey.
Fellas, it's good to be back 75 episodes later. 77 episodes later.
Thank you for doing the math. I was trying and failing.
How you guys doing? What's going on? It's good to be here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
All good. Happy to be back on Guitar Stories. Actually, I didn't mention, I found a birth year guitar today that I'm considering acquiring. Yamaha SG2000.
Oh, okay.
Don't need it, but really like it.
Andy, minimalism.
Sorry, you're cutting out there, Dan. You're cutting out. Your mic's not working.
How
Is unintelligible.
how expansive is your collection? What are we talking here?
You mean the whole thing? Dude, there could be 2 people listening.
Yeah.
There could be
have a
important
bunch.
accounting people. I have more than I need, and that number, you know that number when some people say how many guitars you've got, and you have to say I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
You're at that
it's
number.
probably
I see.
clinically wrong.
Yeah, but there's that. But I totally agree. There's that threshold. You know, you can count every single guitar to a certain point, but then there's this threshold where you just accept that you have way too many, and you just stop. You just stop counting. It doesn't make any sense anymore, right?
I had a huge overflow at one point of guitars, but I completely sold everything. But now that I have this model, I get the new one. So that's my collection just grows depending on how successful my guitar line is.
Well, funny you should mention that, because Schecter have sent me 2 guitars with your name on, and they arrived about 2.5 hours ago now, and they're here still in the boxes. So I will unbox them live on the show for a first ever.
The true test, the unboxing live. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
No pressure, anybody. We're all relaxed here. Nick, if you don't mind, we're going to get to know you a little bit better. For people that are not that familiar with you, we find the best way to do that and to break that ice is to ask you 6, no less, no more, quick-fire questions.
Oh my.
Yeah. So this is what we call Nick in a nutshell. So.
Oh shit. Wait, can I swear? I never know.
Right. If it falls out, it falls out. What can we do? It's live.
Okay. Let's see.
I know you know Dan better, so maybe should we have a question from Dan first, just to ease you into the process?
Let's try it. Let's do it.
Yeah, we had tension music last week, but it caused a technical error, so we're not going to have tension music this week. We're just going to go sans music.
All right.
Okay.
So Nick, you're an avid coffee lover and have tasted coffee all around the world when on tour. What makes a good coffee, and where did you have the best coffee so far?
Okay, so I have this conversation all the time with people. For me, the top 2 have been Japan and Australia. There's no question. It's just the sort of attention to detail and the craftsmanship and the obsession of the brewmaster. But between those 2, I don't have a particular drink I order. It's just I'll usually just get like the drip and just something with espresso in it. But between those 2, and then I drink really strong coffee at the house here, and I'm down from like 8 a day to maybe 2 a day. So that's a big win.
Coffee a day versus.
Yeah.
For some reason, Dan didn't like your answer, so he turned all the lights off. But
he just left. He just left.
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone to grab a coffee. He's on the way to Japan. If you're listening to the audio version, then currently the video version is exactly the same as the audio version because we can't see Dan. And I heard him jump out of his chair.
I just hear shuffling in the dark.
I think he's forgot to plug his camera into the mains.
Various sounds. Maybe he's kidnapped. I don't know what's going on here right now.
Give him back. Give back our doctor. Man down, man down. Right, Nick, it is my turn to ask you a quick-fire question.
Okay,
and
okay.
I can't wait to try that coffee that you've recommended.
We'll
very simple one. Very simple one, Nick. Nick Johnston, what was your first guitar?
My first guitar was, so technically I got it was called a Cool Shades guitar back, and it was made of plastic, and I didn't really know what I was doing, so I just hit the strings and destroyed that as kids do, beat the shit out of it, and asked later, can I get a guitar? My parents, knowing what I did to that kind of first guitar, were kind of apprehensive. But then finally, I got my hands on a Squire Bullet from 2001. Oh, he's back!
He's back. Hey,
Did you
Dan.
just get dropped? It's like he got dropped through like the ceiling or something. Holy shit!
It's okay. I mean, it just happens. It wouldn't be Guitar Stories if it wasn't some kind of technical thing. You know, when we were
What
before
is-
the show and you said you'd like to see how it all got put together.
Yeah,
This is
that's
how we,
that's how we roll. Yeah.
that's how
But-
we roll.
But that's a good thing. Nowadays we kind of have the power to kind of
What the
fix all
happened?
these
What
things.
happened? That was fantastic.
Camera just
was
switched
wonderful.
off. I don't know why, so I had to restart it. Yeah.
Oh man, that's wild. Anyway, this is live, folks. This is the magic of live.
This
Oh
is
my
true
God.
live entertainment.
Anyway, so it was the Squire Bullet, and it was about $100 Canadian, so like £8, I guess. And I got it with a Fender Frontman 15R amp. Had the reverb. It's a little guy, but this big.
Nice.
And that was my rig for a couple of years. You know.
Sweet.
Killer rig.
all I needed.
Dan, you're up, sir.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My turn.
Yeah.
All right. So Nick, you've been on tour across the whole planet. What's the weirdest souvenir you brought home?
I don't bring stuff. I don't really bring stuff home.
Not at all.
I don't do it. No, I don't like the kitschy shit that gets on the shelf and it stays there and the dust. Nah,
Okay.
nothing.
And maybe some sort of clothing, because you're like a stylish guy. You're always looking for kind of cool stuff to wear.
Nothing weird though. Just a nice jacket or a hat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Didn't we even go shopping back in the day? I remember.
Well, I think we probably did.
Yeah.
We
Berlin.
must have. We did. We went to Nudie.
Yeah.
I think I got something too, actually. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Right.
Yeah.
Next quickfire question, which we're terrible at quickfire questions because we just like to talk.
Yeah.
Next question.
All right.
Nick, you play a gig, and unfortunately, you've turned up to the show, and all of your gear has been lost somewhere, and it does not make it to your show. However, there is a music shop right near to the venue, so you go in and you have to grab something, and you have 5 minutes to grab your whole rig. What is it you grab?
Do I have my guitar or no? I have nothing.
You got nothing, nada.
I'd probably grab something similar to my guitar, and it's interesting. This is not going to be a rapid fire answer because I've been in this situation countless times. I've been in this situation countless times, and I can kind of more or less get away. Like if there was just an angle amp, I'd use it. If there was a Fender, it doesn't matter. I would, whatever you got. Mm-hmm. That's my honest to God answer. Is I'd walk in and say, "What do you guys? You got it? Let's go." I don't need to build the rig and make sure I have the perfect. Just give me an amp and a guitar, and I'll figure it out.
Sweet.
That's good. That's refreshing.
And insane, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It says a lot about a player when they can say something like that. It's either highly skilled, which I'm going to put you in that camp, or just doesn't care. So I'm going to put you a little bit in that camp as well.
Well, you know what it is. It's I don't know if I'm either of those. It's just I've done that kind of stuff so much that you just get to a point where it's just like I'm just going to try and make it work. Like that. Your thing above is just I'm going to deliver a show, and just give me what you got. Yeah. Don't overthink it a lot of times.
Good. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
We've got a super chat coming before we get our next question. Andrew Morgan, thank you very much. He has sent us coffee money from the heart of his bottom. It can be redeemed also for handmade coffee if you visit in Australia, which is where Andrew's from.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
Very nice.
Thank you,
Very
Andrew.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dan,
Yeah.
fire us a question, sir.
Last question. All right. Nick, do you know Josh Scott, the owner of JHS Pedals?
No, I do not.
No, he's got a big ass collection of pedals, like probably the largest collections of vintage pedals that you can imagine. And here's a question: since you are not a pedal guy, and I know that very well, if you could spend like one day in his house and try every single pedal that probably ever existed, what pedal would you try first? Is there any pedal that you
Man,
heard of that you always
so
wanted
bad.
to try?
I would want to try like a really high end, a really good Univibe. I'm kind of obsessed with that sound.
Okay.
These days, I don't know which one. I couldn't tell you what the Holy Grail Univibe is, but whatever that one is.
Okay. Maybe all of them in that order.
All of them.
In order.
All of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm pretty sure there's a video on his channel.
I love it. A good
Sorry,
Univibe.
I'm pretty-
I kind of slept on them for that effect for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's so musical, but so destructive. There's something really cool about that.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's
Yeah, I like the
interesting.
fact that you can just dial it in a little, or you can go full on and totally
Yeah,
mess up
yeah,
the sound.
exactly. It's the best. It's the best.
When you turn it off, you can miss it. I guess that's one of my things about Univibe.
Yeah, I'm trying to use it more just for like certain solos I want to pop out and make a bit of a different impression. And it kind of makes your fast playing sound like shit too, so you have to kind of like pull it back a bit because everything just gets flubby and nasty.
Yeah.
You have to be able to bend really well if you want to use a Univibe, I think.
Okay, why? What
Having
what does it do
that sustained bend, just that all that information, that sort of warbling effect really stands out if you can hold a nice sustained bend in pitch. Something really magical about that.
Okay, I'm good. Okay, then. Which this is not a question. This is a sub question. Which record of yours or song of yours should we listen to where you could demonstrate that Univibe sound to the best
White
of your-
Eyes in the Dark on a song called "Every Drop of Blood" Part 2. There's a whole
Every Drop of Blood part
solo
2.
section
Right,
with that. Yeah.
I'm going to listen to that afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, your final quickfire question. Nick Johnston, what is the best way to get out of a conversation that you don't want to be in?
Oh man, I gotta get out of here. It was great talk. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, see ya.
Okay. Cheers. Bye.
Boom. Nice. Just be nice. Just be nice.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. And then you get out of there.
Beautiful. Also, not too detailed. I didn't know why you had to leave.
Yeah.
You just had to.
Yeah, but my face said, "I gotta get the fuck out of. I gotta get out of here." Gotta get
We have a gear recommendation from Gary who says Andy Timmons uses the Jam Pedals Retro Vibe. That's pretty cool. It's a beautiful pedal.
Okay, cool. Let's get my hands on one of those.
Right. Definitely recommend it. Okay. I feel that we know each other a little better. I feel that if we had some gear, we would probably relate to each other. So we should probably pick some gear picks of the week and then guess stuff about each other. Is that okay with everybody?
Let's try it. Oh, man, of the week. Okay, I can go first because I don't have one of the week, but I can kind of go with the last piece of gear I saw that piqued my interest within like the last 2 to 3 weeks, if that's okay.
Sure.
Those
Always.
newly re-released Roland, Juno, and Jupiter keyboards. I don't know if you guys saw those. I want to get the Jupiter for sure. Those old 80s synths, they just kind of repackaged and re-released. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Is it really only a couple of weeks ago? I thought it was quite a while ago.
I
Not
only
that it
saw.
matters,
I only saw. Yeah, that I only saw.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
actually saw one in.
Please. Sorry.
Oh
Nick?
no, that I saw in store only. I think the first time to actually get my hands on it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe.
All right.
Pretty cool.
How much are they going for? Do you know roughly?
Canadian? Like $1,800, so like maybe 1,200 pounds, something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
$2 grand-ish. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Do you have a
investment,
history?
but not too much.
Do you have history with those old Juno keyboards or?
Not really, but I've been using the plugins for like, I don't know, a year now or so, and just being heavily drawn to all those old kind of sequencer sounds and those old lead sounds. I feel myself kind of going more in that direction.
Sweet.
Since the pandemic, even just like having another instrument to write on as opposed to the guitar all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely going that road.
Do you ever see yourself rocking a keytar?
That's the vision. That's the true dream. Could you imagine? Oh my god. In atomic coral. No. The guitars are pretty wild instrument. When you look at that thing, it's crazy, man. That thing is insane. Good lord, you'd have to have confidence, so much confidence to play that thing.
Oh yeah.
I think you could pull it off. Definitely.
And you got to own
I
it.
absolutely think you could pull it off. Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
you
got.
gotta
Yeah,
own it.
you've got to own it. I was once in a band with a guy who played synths and keys, and he had a rack of 3 of them. But he would play with the right hand and then lift the left-hand side of the keyboard up when he bent the notes, and it did nothing, but it just looked cool. And he'd do the face and everything.
He's literally
just lifting a
bending the
keyboard off the
keyboard.
stand for no reason. I love that guy.
Keyboard players are also. I think you have to be insane.
Yeah, Paul was
a
a legend.
God love him.
Oh,
Do you guys play keys too or anything?
Just the piano, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What would we do without them? All right, Nick. I try. I noodle. I mess around.
Me too. It's all just.
I vamp.
Just an experiment. Just a big experiment.
Does it take you out of your routine, of your guitar routine, when it comes to how you view melodies?
It's fun.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's just something about being kind of set onto something where you have no technique and you can't really rely on. When you sit down and practice, it's like you play that same kind of series of licks. It's like, and you go to play a solo on something, you play it's like improvised, but like maybe the same every time. But when you're playing down, you're sitting at the keyboard, all your technique, you can't just play these licks. You have to kind of try to make music, or else you get bored really quickly if you're just kind of hitting chords. So I find it's just a really good exercise of sort of being put directly into a position of trying to be creative as opposed to just practicing technique all the time. I don't know why, but I can't really write guitar music, instrumental music on a guitar. I lack that ability for some reason. It's the strangest thing.
Huh.
I don't know why. Yeah.
And have you ever had the experience that you wrote a melody that worked super well on the piano and sounded great, but it was kind of hard to transition that onto the guitar to make it really sound good?
This is turning into the key story. That's funny. No, it's usually quite easy to turn it into a guitar melody just because they are such simple, just simple 2 or 3 note melodies. It's difficult for me to develop a story or sort of a melody line with evolving harmony and movement if I'm just writing on a guitar. I find with the piano I can kind of do everything together and sort of, almost like audition every note against a chord as I go. And I like the challenge of that too. There's something really cool about that.
Sweet.
Yeah. But I've been more or less playing since I was 18. I got a really cheap Casio keyboard when I was about 18 years old, and I wanted to learn how to play a little bit of classical music, but I didn't want to take lessons, so I kind of figured stuff out, and I learned how to read and stuff. And then I learned how to read music after that. Sorry. And then I just got so into this kind of open world of harmony. I was such a big Pat Metheny fan at the time, and I also found out he was writing a lot of his music at the piano. And I just was wondering, why did his guitar music sound so different than everybody else's? And I think it was sort of that understanding of harmony that comes with being humbled by an instrument, where you're just like, I got to make music first, Yeah. So yeah, I think that's where that comes from.
Fantastic.
I love the idea of not being able to go to your your warm place, your comfort zone. That those licks that just fall out easily.
Oh man, and I experienced it twice like that over the past couple of years, and the other one was with singing. I've been trying to sing, and you want to talk humbling? Oh my! God. You know, and that's not going to be sort of a main focus of mine, but it's just another thing to try and do. You know, why not? But yeah, very
You
very
stood,
humbling.
you stood there anyway. You might as well, say something with some music in it.
You know, just to go up to the microphone like this, like hypersensitive microphone, just can hear your heartbeat if you wanted to. And there's like everybody in the control room, and you're like going out to sing the first time on a record, and you're like, okay, here we go. And you sing, and you're so sharp, and everyone's like, and then you hear the talk back come on, and everyone's laughing. You're just like, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. You know, but it's a good exercise in being humbled and staying focused.
And I imagine that you, as a player who has a very precise ear and a very good tone, it must be also kind of for you like easier possible to kind of get into those levels where you feel comfortable because you know exactly what is sharp or or what's weird, or is that something where you couldn't really earn what you have on a guitar from, like, how's that? Does it help to be a good guitarist when it comes to playing or to singing, or is that doesn't make a big difference?
I don't know. I mean, I was talking to my wife about this yesterday because I have a project with my wife as well, and she sings in that, and we were just talking about the studio pressure and everything that kind of goes along with that. And I was thinking about how when I was making this record with my friend Ben, this archival record, I had to, for the very first time, leave the studio with an incomplete album. I had to actually fly back to the studio and finish doing vocals because I remember being in the booth on this one song, and it was so it was, to be honest, it was scary because it was the very first time, and I remember I had the headphones on. I couldn't, and the only way I can really describe it is I was kind of looking for something in the dark, but I couldn't figure out where the pitch was. It was like I was trying to sing the pitch, and I fucking couldn't get it.
Okay.
And it was just so weird. So I had to leave the studio as a sort of, I would call it a failure, but just humbled, very behind. So like, the guitar playing, whatever, that's seemingly unrelated. Maybe just the understanding of pitch and the muscle memory with all that. But in terms of the crossover for me, I mean, zero crossover.
Okay.
I look forward to hearing that coming into and then you really owning it and quite literally finding your voice. Sorry about that. That came out, Yeah.
I'm trying. It's going to be a long road, but whatever. Who cares? It's fun. Who cares?
As long as it's fun, then that's all that matters. That's my advice and my final line on singing.
Yeah, totally. So there you go.
Right, Nick, would you like to hear Dan's gear pick first or my gear pick? Neither of us will be offended, depending on who you choose. It really doesn't matter. Choose me, please.
Andy, let's go with Andy's gear pick.
Okay, great. Then I get a little jingle. So it's time for my pick
of the week.
Andy's pick of the week.
Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off there, but that's the jingle. Right, my gear pick of the week is a guitar. And even though I have two potentially beautiful guitars next to me in a box, which we will unbox at some point during the show, it's not that guitar because I can't pick something that's in a box. That would be ridiculous because that's not fair. However, I have chosen a guitar. It is this. It is insane. It is the Moore Wings W800 and 900, the new headless models coming in from Moore. And it's not just a guitar, it's got the GTRS intelligence system built in. So you can plug in headphones to this thing, and it's got a built-in multi-effects, or you can plug it into a PA system, or plug it into an amp, and it's got everything you need inside it. These things, I haven't tried this model, but I've tried the original, more Strat style, traditional shape, and it's insanely good and fun. And there are 3 colors. We have the Aurora Pink, the Aurora Purple, and the Aurora Green. And I dig this heavily because they're so weird. And so, because I know the system, the GTRS system, I know that is good. So as long as the guitar delivers as an instrument, everything else should fall in place. Oops, pressed. Oh, darn it. They're coming in at looking
Good
at
thing it was a picture of
Coleman.
another guitar, huh? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sneaky peeky. Yeah.
they're coming in at just over €1,000.
All right.
So that's about the price they should be. I'm just putting that link into the chat if anyone wants it. I think they look great. I know Dan likes it because it was going to be his gear pick of the week, and I said, "Can I have it, please?" So,
Yeah.
what do you
Oh
think?
my god.
What do you
So,
reckon
Nick-
to those crazy nutso headless guitars with computer in it?
Not my thing. That's a hard pass.
Hard pass. That was fast. That was even faster than telling someone to to leave
Yeah,
the room.
I got to go, Nick. Sorry, I got to do a thing.
Oh my god. Sorry.
All right,
let me do some research on those first. Sorry.
I'll take the ball and run with it a little bit. What I like about the guitars is they have an alder body. Always like
Yeah.
guitars
Oh, let's
with
do some
alder.
specs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's got a roasted maple neck. I think Nick's guitars also have. Are they also roasted? Some of them, the PTs.
Yeah.
I think so.
Some of them are roasted.
Yeah.
Flame
What
broiled.
kind? Yeah. Well done. What kind of intrigued me was that they say these guitars come with fend frets, but
Yeah.
to me these are not necessarily fend. They are just slanted, right?
They look multi-scale, but they're they're not. They are slanted, but they're. I don't know. What do you define? I'm not really a fan fret player, but I kind of like them when I do.
This is a fan, right?
Yeah,
This is how you
that's a fan.
would
And this
envision
is
a fan.
this is straight to to that.
Yeah,
I'm probably mirrored.
yeah. But you get what I'm saying. It's like it's not really a fan fret. It's more like slanted, like what we saw on the Q models, the QX ones. And I really find interesting to see that this kind of feature of having slightly angled frets towards the high notes kind of find its way into the mainstream, because with the modern techniques like the tapped harmonics and the sliding and almost the piano-esque tapping kind of techniques. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool to see those features kind of being sneaked into regular production models at a price tag of around $1,000. That's pretty cool.
I just really like the body shape. I mean, take apart all the things. If I just put it on screen again, I love that where the top where it's going to go, where your arm goes over the arm contour. I love that sort of almost German carve. So it's a very modern design, but there seems to be some sort of design gone into it. That being said, I don't think I would play it on stage. I think
Ooh.
if I did, I'd have to have glasses
the-
with LEDs in them.
So
That's
you
the true test.
yeah. So you're
Yeah,
picking
the true
that as
test.
your pick of the week, or you wouldn't play it? Hypocrite. What?
No, it is my pick of the week. It really excited me to see it, but it would be. I would want to take it on stage. Let me put it this
Okay.
way. But I think the
Okay.
other members of the band would have an issue with me playing that. I think they might say, "Can you please pick up the Fender Strat again?"
All right.
Or that gorgeous check the. What's that?
Nick Johnston signature. Yeah.
Put that one around your neck and walk on the stage.
Yeah. It'd be a bit of a tough look. It'd be a tough look.
Yeah.
It is. It's a tough sell in a blues rock band.
Yeah. But you would stand out, to say the least.
Exactly.
Either thrown out of the
Charlie Cooper from Orange says, "Spinal Tap, own it, don't look at it. It's too important." I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Charlie. All right. So that's my guitar. I think Nick doesn't like it. I'm not sure, and it wasn't entirely clear.
Yeah.
No.
Do you guys see those guitars with
feeling you don't like it.
with the effects and the computer? Like, do you guys remember was it the Firebird X they put out?
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
the Firebird X was when I lost faith in all that shit. I was just like, let's just stop. Stop doing this.
Oh, I agree. It's pointless. No, not pointless. Sorry, it has a point. It's just
Yeah.
I would rather plug into an amp. However, you can do some cool stuff and it helps you make music, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, fair enough.
So stop the bulldozers. Stop them. Okay.
Yeah, don't bulldoze the moors.
No. The
Right,
fireboats are gone already.
Dan, it's time for your pick of the week. You're the only one left, so I'm going to play your jingle. We're going to then see if Nick likes that
Ooh.
jingle, and then hear what you've got.
All right.
Dance, pick up the week. Dance, pick up the week.
All right. My pick of the week. What?
Have we broken Nick?
We've
we
broken
break
Nick.
Nick?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Was that you singing, Dan?
No, that was Andy.
Oh my god, that is hysterical.
I'd love to hear Dan's version of Dan singing that. And Nick, if you'd like to cover that on your next release, then we can talk,
Oh my
copyright
god.
and licensing.
That was tremendous.
Yeah.
Good.
It's
How are you gonna follow that up? What's your pick? What's the guy?
my
Yeah,
pick is a
yeah, come
very
on, Dan.
artsy guitar. It's the new Dave Bach Sum 41 signature guitar from Duesenberg. And Duesenberg, the Germany-based company, they just announced that model for Sum 41 Shred Dude, Mr. Brown Sound Dave Bach. And what I really like about Duesenberg is that they kind of reinvent the design. They always combine Art Deco elements with very useful specs, and that signature guitar is very interesting because it has like a little bit of both worlds. It's got a solid body construction, again with an alder body. It's got 3 Duesenberg pickups. I think we'll talk about little toaster on the bridge and then some single coils in the middle and neck position. And I just dig the looks. It's a very fancy kind of T-style interpretation. The Magpie inlay is just the icing on the cake in the fretboard. It's got laser etched knobs and all those tiny little details that separate the boys from the men. So yeah, I really like
Nice.
it. It's expensive, so it's like almost $3,000, but it's made in Germany and a beautiful instrument. And I think I also like that to see that transition because Dave Bach back in the day when Sum 41 with Fat Lip and all those songs was big, he was playing PRS single cuts like almost every new rock, punk, new metal player at that time. Westmoreland and you name it. Those kind of guys.
Hoobastank. Remember the Hoobastank?
Yeah,
guy was playing with?
Hoobastank. Dave Astron,
Tremonti.
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Tremonti.
Yeah.
Dave Astron even had a 12-string PRS that looked hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
now
was the
he's
sound. Nickelback too, I believe, had that sound.
Yeah.
All those guys doing that, yeah.
Yeah.
PRS
Exactly.
into a rectifier.
Rectifier, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now he's with Duesenberg and kind of.
That's cool. It's a good looking guitar, yeah. It looks great.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So, would you?
I like it,
go
man.
on stage with that?
Price is a little off-putting. Not that I'm trying to sway people when we do the buy, borrow, or burn to not choose your pick, but that's an expensive guitar, and history shows that in buy, borrow, or burn, people don't go for expensive things when I pick them. So
Because you pick 50K guitars, okay? We're talking about 2.8K, not 50K. Come on, give me a break.
What did
was
you
a
pick
great-
that was 50K? What are we talking about here?
It was the Fender Venus, which was actually belonged to Courtney Love, which is why it was so expensive.
The Fender Venus?
Yes.
Wow. I've never heard of this.
Which, not the
Can I
Squire
look it up
Venus.
real quick?
Yeah, go for it, man. Go for it. It is not a very versatile guitar for sure, but it certainly is a guitar. If it is
okay,
nothing, it is a guitar.
But certainly it is a guitar.
Yes, it is above all other things.
Could be
A
everything.
guitar.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that was
I
50K,
just-
but mainly
I
because
just-
it was Courtney Love's.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yep.
Right, I've teased by Borrow or Burn long enough. We need to decide who shall be victorious this week. Do you want another little jingle, Nick? We got a little jingle for this.
Yeah, of course.
Right, here we go then. I borrow or burn. Yes. Success.
I love
We have
how
broken Johnston once again.
I like how you've done the voices for all three of them, and all three voices are different. They're like, I would have loved to see the behind the scenes of you doing that one. Just gotta get the pitch. Like, let me just get the pitch. You had to get the pitch right, and then you went for it.
Exactly. That's where almost half of my personalities. So
Damn,
that's where we are.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
I'll take
excited.
it,
right?
What do we got here? How do we do
Right,
it?
let me just quickly explain Buy, Borrow, or Burn. In Buy, Borrow, or Burn, we have 3 gear picks of the week. We have the new Juno keyboards from Nick Johnston, we have the Duesenberg guitar from Dan, and we have my more GTRS headless modern thing that no one's going to pick. So, the rules are, hypothetically, you have enough money to buy any of them, but you must choose to buy one, to borrow one, which means you've got to give it back, and to burn one. Nobody, no brands or companies will get offended because it's just a little game, all right? So don't reach out.
So aggressive
to us.
you have to burn it. Just burn it. So aggressive.
Yeah.
That's just how,
I know that
Okay.
Poo Ninja has already made some choices apparently in the chat. So
Who?
Poo Ninja. Poo Ninja is multi-famous.
Ninja.
He's on every guitar YouTube channel. He is one of the biggest fans of guitar YouTube and
Wow.
a decent
What's up?
chap as well.
What's up,
And
Poo
he's
Ninja?
recently bought an electronic bike.
Very nice.
Right.
An e-bike.
An e-bike, that's the one. I said electronic bike, like people say electronic guitars then. That was weird. Yeah, e-bike.
indeed.
You play an electronic guitar? Poo Ninja, here we go. Poo Ninja would, for example, buy the Cyborg guitar, woohoo,
Ooh.
borrow the keys, and burn Dan's pick until he sends me my peer.
Oh, he has one on order, does he?
No, that's the point.
He has one
Oh, okay.
on Give Me One because.
The moment he sends me his credit card details, I'll put that in the system.
Boom.
And it'll be
There you
ready
go.
to ship. Mic drop.
Right.
Hilarious.
Andy,
Mike
not me,
Jo-
but Andy Bungart would buy the Duesenberg, borrow the Moore thing, and burn Andy's guitar.
What?
I think he
think
meant the keyboard thing. Maybe it's the Moore thing, the Juno
Yeah.
thing.
Sorry, Andy, we're confused. There's the keyboard, there's my guitar, and there's Dan's guitar. That is confusing. Sorry. Maybe you want to pick again. I'll put it on screen again later if you like. One more
Yeah.
from the chat. We've got Josh would buy the Duesenberg, borrow the GTRS, and burn the keys because he can't play them.
Oh, give it a
Fair
try.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Fair enough.
Okay. We'll do the guessing thing. Nick, who do you want to guess for?
I'll guess for Dan.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. Buy the Duesenberg. Borrow the keys. Burn this future guitar.
Spot on. You know me very well, my friend. And just want to point out that like the majority of people actually would burn that ugly headless guitar.
Burn the ugly face. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh,
True.
man.
It's not true. It's not true. Look, Valeria, she would buy them more out of curiosity. She'd borrow the keys and burn the 70s cafeteria. She'd burn your guitar, Daniel, son.
Yeah, well,
Whoa.
if we did a survey, we should that should be a thing. Is there such a thing as polls, like live polls? Can we do
There
that?
is, but because we're running through the Restream platform, I don't have access to them without doing some serious window tab thing, and I'm already
Okay.
pressing 10 buttons and choosing
Yeah,
crap
yeah,
guitars,
yeah,
so I don't want to do it.
Jesus Christ.
I-
thought,
can I-
okay, wait. So wait.
can
So
I
Moore
quickly-
is the brand. Moore is the brand, right?
Where's the
I
brand?
thought
Yeah.
I thought they were only the very first thing I ever got from I got something from Moore, and it was like a power supply. So like they started out they were doing guitars now. Wow.
Well,
What a
Moore, I don't know if
interesting-
I'm allowed to share this, but I'm going to anyway. Moore and Joyo are the same company,
Yeah, I knew that.
and Moore do the digital stuff. So they have some geniuses doing this digital stuff, and
Right.
Joyo do the more analog stuff. I don't.
Cool.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not because,
Yeah.
It's all good.
But-
it's all good.
but we got-
what do we got here?
right. Buy the keys to get back into playing keys. Good one. Borrow the
Ooh.
and buy an Ibanez Q52. Burn the Duesenberg because it looks like it would burn well. So Dan, remember when someone, I don't remember who, said that everyone would burn the futuristic car? I don't think that seems to be statistically correct. Seems to be incorrect.
Correct. Okay. You got a point. But I gotta kind of pull off that whole poll thing because I really want to know what the results would look like after such an episode. I think that's like market research on the spot, right?
It is, yeah. We should definitely be getting some payment. Do you know what? I can do this as you're guessing for me if you really want. If you really want, I can do it.
Okay.
But you got to guess for me. Guess what I would do. It might cause my internet to drop out as I'm doing it.
All right. Okay. So you would buy the Mora, borrow the Duesenberg, and burn the keyboards.
No.
Then you would borrow the keyboards and burn my doozy just for fun.
Yep. Yeah, I would. I'd just burn that guitar until there was not even ash left for the pure reason that I want to win.
Yeah, I hear you. And I picked it.
But
And
I
was so-
absolutely love Duesenberg, so it's only the game that I would do it. In reality, I would love to play that guitar because I've played all the Duesenbergs I've played have been phenomenal.
Yeah,
But it's a game, you know. So
absolutely. By the way, did you
can I
see?
do- I'm trying to do
Chris's
this
pick?
poll.
Did you see Chris's pick?
What was
Chris
Chris's pick? No, I did
Chris
not.
was-
Kris Barocci. Hello, Kris
Yeah,
Barocci.
Kris was kind of bending the rules because he said he would buy Nick because he needs to jam with him again. He would borrow me
Hey, buddy.
and geek out on cool guitars and burn Mr. Ferris because he burned his bass. What?
All right. To explain that, Kris asked me to help him refinish his bass, and I took all the finish off his bass, and then for no reason whatsoever set fire to it. I didn't burn it. I just set fire to it with some lighter fluid, just for fun.
Is there
He's-
some footage from that?
Yeah, it's on Chris's channel.
Oh, wow.
I
I
recommend
gotta
you all
check
go
that
to
out.
Kris Barocci's channel and have a
Yeah.
little look at his
Yeah.
5-string jazz Squire, I believe it was, which is now, I want to say pink. It's
Okay.
it was beautiful. The work that Kris did with it was mwah.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's
I
like-
did set fire to it, so that's fair.
That's like buy, borrow, burn, gone wrong.
The perverted
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
But it's also there's something illegal activity in there because he wants to purchase me as well. I'm not quite sure what to make of that.
That's
part of
true.
Yeah.
That
Right.
sounds also illegal.
I'll keep an eye out for vans wherever I go from now on. In case.
Do it. Yeah, be very, very careful.
What the?
If you see like a guy driving by with waving Roland keyboards out of the window of this van, then don't go for it. Don't go for it. Just keep on with the VST. I am trying to add a. I can do the poll. All right, here we go.
All right, people. I want to see the
YBB.
truth.
We're gonna go for more.
I want to see the truth.
The truth.
We're gonna go for Duesenberg, and we're gonna go for Juno. There is a first ever poll coming in on the Buy Borrow Burn, I believe. Currently, we're at 0% for everything because nobody's voted. But as people vote, I can tell you the percentage.
would
So
be
we're talking. We're talking what you would. Hang on, the answer before don't answer yet. I haven't given what to do. Which one would you buy? So this is the first question. Which one would you buy? Which one would you buy? So
And
currently,
we just need which one would you burn, and then we know what's in the middle because nobody's really cares about the middle, right?
That's true. Well done. We only need to do 2 polls. That's
Yeah.
very intelligent.
Thank you.
I never would have thought of that. I would have done 4 possibly. So for the buying, currently 68% of people would buy the Duesenberg, 18% would buy the Moore, and 14% would buy the Juno. It's just changed. Oh my goodness, new numbers are in. 70% would buy the Moore, 70% would buy the Duesenberg, and 13% would buy the Juno. It's fair. It's guitar players rather than keyboard players. Don't be
I guess
upset.
we are in guitar stories. That is, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I
yeah.
think
I flipped the
the
table.
thing we need to the fact we need to take here is that the Duesenberg is at 71% of people buying it. I'm going
Nice.
to end that poll and do another quick one of Burn. Oh, that's a Q&A. This is really hard to do. Why do YouTube make it so complicated? Hang on. Start a poll. Right. This one is Burn. Not Brun. I can't. Moore, or the Duesenberg, and
Run.
Juno. So which one are you going to burn? There is your poll. Please also burn the Duesenberg. What?
Andy,
Yes, Dan.
why? Simply, why?
You're leading the witness. You can't do that.
I am.
But he's such a charming guy, and he does it so in such a subtle way, right? It's just
I think I got away with it. Oh, the
Yeah.
numbers are interesting. Numbers are obviously false, but very interesting. Very interesting. Oh. Okay, currently, I will leave it over for another 30 seconds because I don't know if this is good podcast content, but it certainly is fun.
so.
The Moore, 41% of people would burn the Moore. Only 27% of people would burn the Juno, and only 32% would burn the Duesenberg, meaning
Yeah.
that most people, indeed, Daniel, would burn the Moore. You were correct in your statement earlier.
Thank you very
Or-
much.
I'm not very happy about that.
Hypothesis is accepted. Thank you.
Oh, it's gone down
But-
to 39%. Oh, hang on, wait. We're now at 39% Moore and 35% Duesenberg.
No, now we're 42 more. You can
on,
try as
people.
hard as you want. You know,
Come on.
it's Andy's army now creating accounts and kind of voting for more. Let's just state that the Moore guitars are great instruments, a lot of bang for the buck, but probably not necessarily the choice for the majority of our viewers, right?
It's a very nice way to state that. That was very nice.
All right, I'm taking the final thing. I'm so excited. That was truly invigorating at this time of day. 38% of people would burn the Moore, 34% would burn the Duesenberg, and 26% would burn the Juno. That is 26 people voted. I think 38%, 34% is not enough to have a clear definition. So, what?
We should move on, right?
We should definitely move on. Yeah, so I'm the loser, Dan is the winner, and Nick Johnston is everybody's friend in the middle.
Everybody's
Congratulations,
friend.
everyone. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
I think that is a little tagline you should use. Actually, I get the feeling that you kind of are everybody's friend when you make
Everybody's
it
friend.
Nick Johnston,
I like
good name
that.
for an album, actually. Everybody's friend.
I like that.
All right.
They can have a B side, and there's everybody's enemy. That would be good, like a project concept album.
I don't know.
There you
man.
go.
Canadian. I gotta have the stereotype.
Oh yeah, true.
I once heard from a professor who said Canadians are the teddy bears of the world. Everyone loves to hug them.
Oh,
Oh.
nice.
No?
That's.
I don't know
I've
if
met
that's
some
true.
real. I've met some real assholes up here. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right, Nick, we have to go to a quick sponsorship slot, so maybe we can invite you to go backstage and have a quick sip of tea or whatever your beverage is for
wonderful.
the show, and we'll welcome you back in a little moment. Is that okay?
Wonderful.
Thank you. We'll see you in a little moment.
All right.
So, Dan,
Yes. Andy,
we
my
have
friend.
some wonderful sponsors this week. They have sponsored us before. They shall hopefully sponsor us again. Guitar Auctions by Gardner Holgate in the UK. They
Wonderful.
have some of the most amazing guitars that come up for auction, just period. And I've bought 3 of them. And as you know, I'm working on a couple more. Have you got any questions you have about guitar auctions that I could possibly answer?
Well, of course. I mean, the guitar auctions. We've talked about that previously. When is the next auction? That would be interesting to know.
Next one is in early December. Do you know exactly when?
Is it December 7th and 8th?
Correct, because there's 2 days, and on some days they have guitars, but they have other stuff, because it's not just guitars, Dan.
Oh wow! What else do they offer?
Pedals, amps, memorabilia, ticket stubs, that you name it, they've probably got it.
All right. And I mean, that stuff must be highly expensive, or is there something also available for the mere mortals like us?
They do have vintage stuff that can go for quite a lot of money, and we've seen that. We talked about them before. There's some stuff that is highly rare and collectible. However, there's also some stuff that is quirky and affordable, achievably affordable. And I've chose one. May I share it with you, Dan?
Of course.
Yeah, it's this, which is the 1960s Wilson Sapphire 12-string electric guitar made, just like me, in England, and they estimate it will go for between 200 and 400 pounds. And I think that looks absolutely amazing. It's kind of like a Burns Bison kind of thing. I don't know. I'm intrigued. I would buy that if it went for about 200, just because it looks cool and it's 12 strings, and I don't have a 12-string.
Yeah, that's a good point. Everyone needs a 12-string, right?
Yeah,
but here's the thing. I mean, since Guitar Auctions is located in the UK, isn't it a hassle to kind of fly over and pick that stuff up, or what's the routine?
You could fly over if you wanted to. You could go visit their showroom in Bath and meet the lovely Luke who does the auctions. Or, because it's all done online and it's live streamed and you can bid online with your credit card and all that, they can also organize for it to be shipped to you anywhere in the world that shipping people go to. So no, you can do it from the comfort of your own toilet.
Sweet. So Luke is actually wrapping the guitar and sending it over?
He did mine, because we're friends.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I don't know if he'll do yours personally, but you can ask. There might be some sort of upcharge to get Luke to do it. I recommend you do. Email him.
Sweet. Cool.
Well, that's the end of our sponsorship. But don't forget to go to guitar-auctions.co.uk and see their listings. As Dan said, 7th and 8th of December is the next auction. I will be there watching and possibly buying.
Even more guitars. Not more, but more guitars.
Oh, I like it, Dan. I miss Nick. Should we bring him back?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that, Nick. We just did an ad read.
No worries. No worries.
Welcome back. I guess I should say to the people in the chat, if you have any questions for Nick, now is the time to put them in the chat. I will pin them, and we shall ask them in some sort of fashion. I don't know exactly how we'll do that. But people are still raving about the guitar auctions. Yeah. Charlie Cooper from Orange is watching some Orange vintage gear they've sold. Cool. I love it. Let's just have a shout out for Nick. This is a shout out from Jameson Snow. Hey, Nick, I love my Schecter NJ Traditional.
Oh, wonderful. By the look of their avatar, is that the coral that you have? I think so. It is a mean machine. That's great. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it.
I forgot we've got to unbox your guitars. I haven't done that yet. We could do that in a moment. But possibly the most important question of the entire show so far is from Andrew Morgan in Australia. Nick, where did you get that hat? Where did you get that hat?
Oh, where did I get this one? Let me think. Let me remember. Let me think.
Okay. Well, you can jump in with it.
I'll have to
anytime you like.
Let me remember where I got this. Yeah, I have a bunch of them now, so.
All right. Okay.
It escapes me.
So whole collection. So at some point you will have more hats than guitars.
Yes, very soon, actually.
Wow.
I've thought about becoming a hat person because as I get older, the hair is leaving. I'm finding the hair leaving my head, getting an older man, and I don't want to suddenly just shave the head and well, I will, but if I became a hat person, then I could just be a hat person forever.
Be a hat person forever. Oh, this is from a store. It's actually a UK store. They're called Other.
Other. In the UK.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you know if they do hats for people with extremely large heads, such as myself?
I would imagine so. I have a large melon myself, so
Okay, good.
I think
And now,
good.
and
plus
now
size
everyone,
melon.
now
Plus
everyone
melon.
will head to otheruk.com to collect to buy Nick's signature hat, almost signature. hat.
Signature hat.
Actually, there's a German blues guy, Henrik Freischlader. He's got a hat from Stetson, and they sell his
good for
signature
him.
hat. Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I don't find it too weird since you're wearing that. Why not? I mean, Indiana Jones also has a signature hat, the fedora, right?
It's true.
True. What would
But
my
maybe-
signature hat be? I don't know.
I don't know. With the fro, it's gotta be fitting, kind of.
Probably just a box or the bag the hat comes in. You know.
Yeah.
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 Just wear a baseball hat. You're good to go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I take on my final dad form.
There you go.
We've got a question from someone called Charlie Cooper. Charlie Cooper, never know who this guy is. He says, Nick, what is your favorite orange amplifier? Random question from a random person with a little kiss at the end.
Oh, that's so nice. I have the Rock Reverb, which is an absolute monster of an amp. But I used on this run of shows I did recently. I can't remember which one it was. It was a custom shop orange amp, and it was quite possibly the nicest amp, or one of the nicest amps I've ever used. The name escapes me, unfortunately, but I'd probably say, just because I have one and I have the most experience with it, just the Rock Reverb, for sure.
Okay.
Nice. I dig the rock reverb. Dig it hard. Maybe Charlie could a custom shop 50. Charlie is suggesting.
I believe it was that. Yes, I believe it was that.
How does he know? How does he know these things about orange?
Yeah, it was that.
It's a miracle, right?
Yeah. I'm going to unbox the guitar, Nick. I think it's time that I did this, and to do that, I'm going to press some buttons so that I go. There we go. So Nick and Dan are currently smaller because I need a bit more space.
Ooh.
Nick, do you want me to
now
do?
You can see everything here, right? You've got.
Yeah,
You can see everything. Full disclosure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to do the Nick Johnston traditional HSS in a green? Is that atomic green?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Or the atomic ink? And should that say atomic pink, or is it really atomic ink?
Ink. Yeah.
Okay. So which one do you want, the green or the ink?
Let's do green. Let's do the
Let's
old
do green.
classic. That's the
Right,
classic.
the green. Here it is. It is just the lady that delivered this from DPD looks so stressed out, and I was trying to console her. She had a van full of tires.
Okay.
And there was like 50 tires in the back of this van, and she said that's her last drop. So she was super stressed delivering these guitars. She was lovely.
That's fantastic. They made it. They made it in time.
Yeah.
DPD information. So Schecter Guitar Research. This is where I don't drop the guitar. Oh, look at that color shining through these bags.
Nick, if I'm not mistaken, this is the color that it wasn't the first signature, but that started it all, because this was like the first proper spec signature that was kind of had all the bells and whistles that you were looking for. Is that right?
Yeah, this was. Oh, there you go. Very important. I hand signed each one of those pieces of paper.
I like
one
that
of my
it's
hair.
pink.
There's one of my hairs in each box. You might
Forget about the Vi DNA. This is the Nick Johnston
Nick Johnston DNA.
DNA.
Was it Superman 2 where they cloned him from a strand of hair?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
have no idea.
So we've
No idea.
got the trem bar and some adjustment stuff and a hang tag. Right, now let's see if I can do this. If you're listening to the audio version, it's amazing, this bit. Right,
Some
we
solid
go.
ASMR. Yeah. Do it gently. Sweet.
Oh, that roasted tastiness.
Good
I am terrible
Lord.
at taking these bags off. Here we go.
Look at that.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh yeah,
That is a pretty looking
that
guitar.
is so fucking nice. I always forget, like, it's such a nice guitar, man. It's ridiculous.
Someone's
Sweet.
written
Oh my
stuff on
God.
the back.
Oh, there you go.
Someone's
Oh,
got
it's
something
even-
written on.
Is that laser etched? That's ridiculously cool. Look at that. How's that
Yeah.
logo called? Does it have a name?
Well, so I have on the USA version. Well, I have one behind me. It's a different logo, and then on the Diamond Series, it's the other logo, and then there's actually a third line coming soon, which I can't say anything about yet, with another logo. So we're just like, depending on the line, you get a different look. It's a small detail, but I like that kind of shit.
Okay. So we're talking about a new line coming, like in terms of price or in terms of features. Can you share that little detail with us?
Both.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, both. A whole. New features, new wood, everything. I should have a prototype soon. So.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it's made in a different. It's another like a different. Different factory, different. A whole different experience. So we'll see what happens.
Ooh. Okay. When do we need to keep our eyes peeled for that release? Is there already a date set?
The release itself probably won't be till next year, but I'll definitely be teasing it as I go. You know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, let me
All
just
right.
show some close-ups, and I'll give not some info, but some opinions, just very, very quickly.
Man, it looks killer, man. My God.
It does look great. That is a beautiful color. I love the fact that you've got the truss rod adjustment as a spoke wheel at the end of the heel of the neck. That is the only way and the only place a truss rod should be adjusted. It doesn't make sense to do it anywhere else. It really doesn't. We've got a push-pull on the tone, just there, which is going to split that hungle coil.
The hunger coil.
Humbucker coil. This is my job. I do this all day.
Did you say
It's in
Did you
tune.
say hung? Yeah, man, that's funny.
Yeah.
Play
Hungle.
that same part again. Play that same part on the hungle coil. Actually, that'll sound really good.
Hang on. There you go. Get at this hungy sound.
Now we're talking.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah, that was more hungry-ish.
Yeah, definitely.
Nick, that is a beautiful looking guitar, a beautiful feeling guitar, and smells
Smelling
good as well. Yeah.
Just don't
Is it
taste
roasted?
it. Don't taste it. Just don't taste it. Whatever you do.
I can't. I shouldn't. I shan't. I might do it after the show when no one's watching. Right. Well, that was a unboxing of a guitar. I don't think we've ever done that. Oh, Nick, that switch. That's a good switch. Hang on.
A very loud switch. Yes.
That's good. Solid.
I do
Nice.
like the switch a lot, so I made
Yeah, that's
shit goes
important.
flying all over the place.
Yeah. I can't wait to plug that in a little later and not sleep.
Nice.
When was the time when you switched from 3 single coils to HSS configuration? Was that must have been a necessity during album record, or what was the reason?
When
for
did
that?
I do it? I did it. Yeah, I did it in 2020, I think.
Okay.
I had made. Let's see here. I'll display. Okay, so I'd made 4 solo albums where I used just pure single coil with that beautiful 60 cycle hum everywhere. And I just I've done so much touring,
there's a channel
Yeah.
called 60 Cycle Hum, and beautiful and 60 Cycle Hum is kind of a very hard contradiction at that point. Just clarification. Sorry for the interruption. Go on.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
No, you just gave him the look.
And anyway, so I had been using that for a long time, and I had kind of decided it was time for something new. And
Okay.
humbuckers provided just something where I could kind of like relearn how to play a little bit. I was so used to always flicking to that back single coil for certain sounds, and that's when I was still really grabbing the bridge. I was always grabbing the bridge for shit, but I kind of got rid of a lot of that anyways. And then I started using a whammy bar again. So it was kind of like a big overhaul. and it's been great. But the humbuckers, they make you play a little different. It's definitely a different type of player. So eventually, I'll probably end up going back just to kind of keep bouncing. Bouncing around. But I have a Telecaster, a Tele style, as you can see right there, with Schecter as well, and has a humbucker in the neck and a single. So it's just cool trying all this different stuff. Pretty exciting. Yeah.
I was wondering, you just mentioned. Sorry, you just mentioned the tremolo kind of thingy. When or how did that come about? Didn't have a whammy bar at that time, or because that's such a very idiosyncratic technique of yours. I had never seen that before, and still to this day, you're the only person that I know that has this technique so ingrained in his playing. How did that come about?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of that when I was probably 20. I remember being about 22, 23. So I had a bunch of really sort of shrapnel era level shred guitars.
Okay.
When I was a teenager into my early 20s, I had a bunch of stuff, and I was using the whammy bar. I had the locking tuning heads, had everything, the phase inverter, the cappuccino machine, everything built into the guitar. I could do everything, right? And like 50 different switches. There was so much stuff. And I was playing with a friend of mine a lot, and eventually he kind of said to me, he goes, you sound terrible.
Whoa. That's harsh.
Because he's like, you should not be using that whammy bar. Because I was like everything. Like you can imagine me tuning, no. But it's like every conceivable moment where I could use it. Anyway, so I got rid of it. I sold everything and I bought a Telecaster, which was, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's basically just a canoe paddle with a pickup in it. Yeah, and
absolutely.
So it kind of reshaped how I played. I had to get rid of the bar, and then I bought a Strat. I had this dream guitar I wanted, and the body, the bridge, was floating just ever so slightly as they come set up. And I remember just kind of hitting it with my palm, and it fluttered, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I wanted, a little bit of the whammy bar sound just by grabbing it. And I figured out ways I would hit it with my hand. Actually, since not doing that, this is all finally like fully healed. I used to have cuts on it, hit it, just big. But it just was I did that for a while. I don't do it anymore. It ran its course, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. I have the Telly coming from Schecter in a few weeks as well. That was supposed to come today, but there was some kind of shipping issue, and they said, "Well, we could send you these." And I said, "Oh, yes, please. I'd love to unbox those with Nick on the show."
Oh, that's awesome!
And smell them in front of him. But
yeah, the smell test. The smell test.
Yeah, the smell test. That's all you need. Review done. Finished.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to Valeria for the super chat, because our regular friend and guest, Michiel, is not here. So she sent us 4,000 Chilean pesos. Is that correct? Am I right there? Am I way off the mark with what CLP stands for? Yeah, so thank you for that, Valeria. You're very, very kind, and thank you for moderating everything.
Yeah. And for doing the timestamps. She needs to get a shout out every single week for doing the timestamps so quickly and so accurately. Amazing.
Wow.
We love you.
Wow.
Well, actually, she only did them last week, not to take it away from her.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to ask her to do them again, but now I feel that I could comfortably ask her again, because you gave us such nice, wonderful shout out. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Okay. A question from Kris Barocsi himself, the legend. He asks, now that you use the whammy bar again, Nick, can you control the addiction?
Yes, because that's so funny, the addiction. Because I'm doing it on a guitar where I don't have it set up where I can pull up too much on it. And a huge part of the problem for me was always doing those sort of harmonics and pulling up. It's mainly just to drop pitch now, as opposed to have the full kind of spectrum. So I behave. I'm like right in the middle now.
All right. Don't hand him a Pia or any other shred guitar. Could
Be a
go off
disaster.
the rails. Yeah.
Total disaster.
So
I'd like to see it. Right.
could we?
Dan,
Could
I know
we-
you got a load of questions. Can you go for it while I just take a little break and sit here and listen? Is that all
Yeah,
right?
of course. Could you show us one of the images? Because I would briefly like to touch base on the whole style thing, because I think, and I've heard that phrase a lot of times, that people coined you one of the most stylish guitar players in the industry.
I don't know about that.
And actually, I was wondering, since we know each other for quite a while, and I was kind of always watching that transition from becoming that long-haired shredding dude who kind of
Mr.
started his
Beard?
career. Yeah, no, without even sans the beard. And then
yeah.
and then you grew the beard, became that kind of clinician rock monster with that massive tone and several instrumental albums. And then you transitioned even further. You got tattoos. You made another step, made the first record where you even sang, and now even further transitioned, like the fourth iteration, Mark IV of Nick Johnston, with Archival and with the project with your wife and with the hat and all, the fashionista kind of thing. What's that like? What's the process like to kind of reinvent yourself also from a visual standpoint? We see some of the images, like at the very beginning, we see you with one of the early Schecter.
Look at that young man. Look at
Yeah,
that young
without the
man.
beard.
That
Yeah.
So that was, I believe that was back in 2015. So that's what, 7 or 14? Was that 8 years ago?
Yeah, that could be.
Anyway, and then that's when you and I were touring together. What year was that? Look at that fucking beard. Oh my God.
2015-ish.
Yeah. And then that was recently in my living room, the last one. But
Oh wow! No, this is
wow.
like this is a true wallpaper in your living room.
yeah, you can see it behind me,
Oh wow!
kind of. It's all back there. You can kind of see it.
Oh wow!
Killer.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh, wow.
That's fantastic.
I mean, that's a long, for me, that's a long time, I think. You're kind of a different person after that long, and depends on what you want to use to express yourself. Some people buy a nice car. Some people, they have interest in things. I like, my wife's also into fashion and design, and that's her job. So, I like nice fabrics, and I'm lucky she makes me stuff, and it's like the most, incredible stuff. So, it's nice to kind of go down that path a little bit. The beard, I actually started growing the beard because I was touring so much. I never took a razor blade or a shaving kit with me. So it would just start to come in, and I'd be gone sometimes for a month or a month and a half, 2 months. And I'm just all right. And I learned it would come in very naturally and very quickly. So I was always growing just this. I remember at one point it was so big I could like pull on it, like whoa. But it just kind of started, and then I kind of liked the way I looked for a little while, and then I got over it, moved on. Much like grabbing the bridge, I moved on, and I changed. You just eliminate stuff. You eliminate it all the time.
Yeah. And also your like promotional efforts have changed, like the visuals that you create for your clinics and also for your albums. I prepared another example. I remember back in the day.
That's when Mark was doing it.
Mark Rakoff, yeah, correct. And then
my
the
God,
middle,
that's right.
is that all different artists that did the designs, or what's the
Yeah.
transitioning there?
Yeah, well, that was Mark when he was doing all that stuff in the first couple records, and then the stuff in the middle is a guy named Matt, who was also at one point my manager. So he was doing all my artwork and just kind of like handling the overall art direction. And I noticed my music was starting to get a little bit darker too. Like if you listen to, let's say, In a Locked Room on the Moon, that record, versus you listen to a song like Gemini or Pure Promise, something just a little bit darker music, you know, more gloomy and more emotional. I couldn't have kept going with that same art style. It just would not have been the proper representation, I think, of the artwork across the board. So, you know, it's really tough breaking. You guys know this, I'm sure, in your own careers, your own experiences. It's hard to break off professionally with someone after they've been such a huge part of what you do. You know, it was 5-6 years we were working together. Mark was much older at the time. I was maybe 23. He was maybe 50. But we were really good friends, and it was just really hard at some point to be like, my music's changing. I got to change the artwork. But thankfully he understood. But it was a pretty tough experience, honestly. But
Okay.
You know, again, it's that whole thing of trying to move forward and trying to stay fresh or eliminate certain things, you know, killing your darlings and all that stuff. So it's interesting too that, you know, I work with Matt in 2 of the projects. He does my solo stuff and the stuff with Archival, but I use one of Satchiko's friends in Osmanthus, and the style we use, I don't know if you've seen the artwork, but it's very, very different. It's a little bit more stylish. There's a bit more of a kind of feminine touch to it, different colors. So it's cool that I'm kind of feeling like I'm getting to a point where I can sort of understand that this music, a good way to represent it would be with this style, as opposed to everything sort of falling under the same brand. And that's not something I know anything about in terms of education. It's just a feel thing.
Okay. Okay.
Great. Well, we have some final questions coming up for Nick, but before we ask those final questions, we got another little sponsorship slot to talk about
beautiful.
guitars, unbelievably. So Nick is invited once again to take a little step backstage for a little sip and a look at his wallpaper, and we'll have him back for some final questions in
For another
minute.
photo shoot.
Yeah. So Dan, guitars are good,
Yes.
right?
Guitars are excellent.
Guitars can be better.
Yeah, Bettererer, and with the help of some tiny tools.
Some tiny tools from a company that we know and love called Stewmac. They have sponsored this show and this episode. Stewmac, they make guitars better by providing, I'm going to say, some of the best tools available for guitars and other jobs around the house as well. This week, Dan, you've chosen a specific tool that you want to talk about. Do you want to tell us what it is?
Yeah, it's called the concave fret end files, and they are made to actually smoothen the fret ends and to kind of blend the crown into the fretboard more efficiently and also finer. And there's the one thing, you know, there are reviews and there are reviews, and since I have the privilege to work with, you know, depending on the times, 12 to 14 highly skilled QC people here at our headquarters. They fret dress guitars every single day, and so I listen to everything they say, and they told me that these files, they can actually move the smallest atoms. And this, if someone says something like that, you know, it sounds funny, but it just shows the appreciation for these kind of tools. And they say that these files offer the best grip and just have the finest the carve. So and if such a verdict comes straight from our QC, there's nothing I can argue about it. And they showed it to me, and I was completely blown away. So now that's the standard, and they want to have that all the time. So whenever the tools are worn out, I gotta, get more. So yeah, that's my pick, because they even move the smallest items. So yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you to Stewmac for sponsoring us, and I stand by the stuff. All the tools that I have from Stewmac are superb. I don't have that file, Dan. I'm going to have to get one now, because I think it also might make the jobs a little bit quicker, and I'm always interested in doing things faster so I can get back to actually playing the guitar. So.
Correct. And what's very important about the concave fret end files is that they also work with stainless steel frets, because nowadays stainless steel is a big thing on guitars, and they work with stainless steel fret ends too, or frets too. Yep.
Thank you. Thanks for your pick, Dan.
You're very welcome.
Let's bring back in Mr. Nick Johnston for some final questions before we love him and leave him when he's got to do that thing where he just has to leave and do something else. Which I hope is how you leave tonight, Nick.
Just kind of dive out of the screen. Like,
Yeah.
no problem.
I guess the final thing I want to do is ask you, Nick, if you would kindly show us your T-style Schecter behind you, because it's been sitting there the whole
Oh, yeah.
episode and it's been crying out to me to be picked up and
Sure.
shown up close.
So this is, I have a couple of these. And this is one of them. And it is the kind of first one we made to try it out. I believe we were calling this Atomic Sapphire, and it's got, I don't know if you can see it, the Wembley kind of, let's see, the light catches it. Not really, but the checking, doesn't matter. I'm going to drop it if I do that. Yeah, it's a great guitar. I'm waiting to get personally the Diamond Series ones myself. I actually haven't gotten them.
Oh wow!
Just the way that they've been kind of rolling out. I was last to get one, which is fine. Totally fine. I'd rather people buy them than get the one. So
Fair.
but yeah, it's cool. I mean, for them to kind of, it just kind of made sense to have both in the line. You got to have them both. You got to have them both. So
Of course.
There's one for each hand,
Collect them all.
yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but it's funny because like pickup wise, it's as if you've just turned your S style guitar 180
Upside
degrees,
down.
right?
Yeah.
Upside down. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Pretty fun.
How
Pretty funny
involved are you, Nick, with the color choices? Because the colors are absolutely banging on every one of your guitars.
Oh, well, thank you. I would say, I think all of them, except for the Atomic Fire, was a Guitar Center request, I think. But pretty much all of them have been me, except one or two. Especially those early ones where they all look like old cars, like ice cream colors. I wanted all those colors. They matched beautifully,
Yeah, they're somehow...
And people seem to respond to them. So that was cool.
They're not too far out there, but they're different. And as I see so many guitars, as we all do, we all see so many guitars, the colors do seem to pop a little bit more than others.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
not
thank
negative.
God for that. Thank God for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It matches you and what seems to be your way of doing things.
Cool.
Dan, have you got any final pointers or questions that you'd like to pose at Nick before we let him go to that thing he's got
Come
to
on,
do?
what do you got, buddy? What do you got?
I'm just like kind of in my brain. I'm always going pregnant with the idea of having your wallpaper actually applied on such one of those telly style guitars, like the all flower pattern kind of thingies. That would be
That
a
would be
rad
pretty
idea.
cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just the pick guard, maybe.
Yeah, or just a pickguard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
That actually
Black
would be
one with
cool,
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I want that.
We've-
Go and do
we've-
that, please.
We've talked about doing something with a graphic on it because they have all those, or the modern version of that machine is that prints. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. It'd have to be a very specific image. But we'll see. Who knows?
It's got to be you, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. You right
Picture
now,
my
wearing
face.
that exact
Picture-
hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Just of my face. Oh.
So Nick, just to make sure to pitch your homework as well, there's a section called Homework that's on Patreon, where you actually educate your fans every single week. Could you fill us in a little bit what to expect on that format?
Sure. So we're going into week, 147, I think.
Wow.
So we're coming up on 3 years. Yeah, pretty crazy. And you can get all of the nickjohnstonmusic.com/homework. Actually, it's on the Patreon one now. So the updated one would be patreon.com/nickjohnstonhomework. Anyway, it starts at the beginning with just like technique, theory, just kind of getting your way through understanding, the basics. And then, I mean, I've done so many of these these lessons. I've covered just about everything you can imagine at this point. Theory. I'll do, periodically I'll pick a month, and every week I'll break down like a fan voted thing where they'll say, can you break down the harmony in one of your songs? And I'll pick a song and kind of talk about, thank you for the link. And I'll just kind of talk about the harmony and sort of behind the scenes thing. Then the theory and my whole thing is like, when you learn stuff, it's how do you quickly apply it? So the whole point is to learn something new and then give you a piece of homework with it. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Here's your homework for the week. That's the whole point. So
That's cool. What did
and
you
it's bite
learn?
size. It's usually 10 to 12 minutes a week. So
Oh, that's cool. That's not too much.
yeah.
And as a teacher, what did you learn whilst doing like 180-ish episodes of homework?
I've learned that I can't pre-film because it's not, there's something about doing it week to week, is you kind of have to remember where people are at. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to pre-record 20 videos. It could be a rich topic that you don't realize at the time. People might not know what the hell you're talking about. I do every week. I do it, the same morning it goes live. So just like that kind of spontaneity and the honesty as a teacher and actually trying to solve a problem. But that was my job for 7 years or so. I pretty much was a full-time guitar teacher at many local stores around here. I used to teach 6 days a week, and it was just, that's what I thought I was going to be doing. So I developed that skill set, which is cool because now it kind of has a way of bringing me this extra little kind of facet to what I do. So it's pretty cool, full circle with that.
Yeah.
And if one was to support you on Patreon now, do you get all the past stuff retrospectively, or is it you join?
All there,
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's all
That's
there.
fantastic.
Yeah, and it's what is it? It's like $5 a month, and I'm not really making too much off it. It's more so it's just something I switched the format at one point to being streaming, and I found I really missed doing it the other way because I've almost at this point I've like sort of institutionalized myself into doing it every week.
Yeah.
It's like if I don't do it, it feels like something weird going on here. So it's a cool way to get a lot of information for the same price as a latte or something.
Yeah. Japanese latte.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, that'd be like $8. What am I talking about? $5.
But with lactose-free soy milk. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us and sharing knowledge and fashion tips and making me want to re-wallpaper my living room.
I didn't do it. That shout out to my wife and her sister. I just stood back here hiding. Holy shit.
Well, thank you for not ruining it then in that case, because I don't do wallpaper. I'm not skilled in that way. Before we leave you, Dan is going to ask everyone if they could please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes.
Of course. Ooh. After you made sure to subscribe to Nick's Instagram channel and YouTube channel, please make sure also to give us a 5-star rating, not for the episode, but for the whole format of Guitar Stories podcast. If you go on itunes.com, you can just, leave a comment like I like Nick or I love Nick or I'd buy Nick a coffee or, you type anything you want, but make sure to grab your phone, your wife's phone, your dog's phone or whatever, your neighbor's phone, and leave us a 5-star rating to make sure that we can deliver more exciting artists like Nick on a weekly basis. And apart from that, thanks Nick so much for joining us for tonight, for joining us with the shenanigans. Yeah.
I guess when am I going to see you next then? Are you
probably NAMM show-ish?
I don't even know if I'm doing the NAMM again this year. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe a Guitar Summit. I think I'm doing Guitar Summit again. So.
Okay. Oh, maybe
worst case, I'll see you next year.
Yeah, maybe Montreux again. I don't know if that's happening, but that would be cool. Definitely on my agenda for 2023, and yeah.
Cool.
Hopefully not 3 or 4 years until we see next time.
I know.
Right?
That's crazy. Yeah. Too crazy. But thank you guys for having me back. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, man. Well, thank you to all the people that joined us in the chat. Thank you to our lovely moderators for posting links and taking care of all the people and generally being wonderful. I am really going to go and play Nick's guitar now through this wonderful amp of mine and hope I don't wake anybody up. Let's see how I get on. That was episode 82. We'll see you next week for episode 83. Goodbye.
Okay, I'm gonna
Bye.
actually do the slide. I'm gonna do the slide out.
Yeah.
Okay, you got something to do. Bye.
Guitar Stories Podcast, your #1 show for everything guitar.